Hey there, algebra students. Let's look at this inequalities practice that you guys just finished. We'll look at the first one here. In order to do 3z minus 4 is less than or equal to 11, you guys are drawing this line, which I think is probably a good practice. It just helps you remember to do something on both sides of the inequality. So we need to identify where our variable is. It's right there. It's z, and so our job is to try to get z by itself. So we'll have z on its own down here eventually. But to do that, we need to get rid of two things. We need to get rid of this 3, and we need to get rid of this 4. To get rid of them, I'm going to start by adding 4, because I get rid of the thing that's furthest away from the z first. When I add 4, I get 15 on the right side of the inequality. The inequality symbol stays the same, and then 3z comes down. Then I should divide by 3, and z is going to be less than or equal to 5. And because I divided by a positive number, that inequality sign is not going to change, and so it stays z is less than or equal to 5. So to make my graph, I'm going to put 5 in the middle, put a couple numbers around it. And because it's less than or equal to, I'll make a solid mark. And because z is on the smaller side of the inequality sign, I'm going to shade to the left. And hopefully yours looks like that as well. All right, let's look at the next one. 5 is greater than 2x minus 4 minus 5x. So I'll draw my line. I notice that there are two terms that have x's in them. And so I'm going to go ahead and combine those terms. Whoops. So I see 2x minus 5x. Make sure you remember to notice that that's minus 5x. So I get negative 3x minus 4 and the same symbol with 5 on the other side. Now I need to start undoing. So I add 4 to both sides. So I get 9 is greater than negative 3x. Now I'm going to divide by negative 3. Now I get negative 3 and x, but because I divided by a negative number, the symbol is going to flip, so I get x is greater than negative 3 rather than the opposite. And so in this case, you'll notice that x is on the larger side, so this means that x is greater than negative 3. And so I'll put negative 3 in the middle, negative 2, negative 1. Make sure you get your negative numbers ordered in the correct way. Because it's strictly less than but not equal to, I'm going to put an open circle, and then x is greater than, so the numbers at work are to the right. And I'm on my way. You can test that out if you want to. I like to test out the number 0 because 0 is greater than negative 3, and I'll go all the way back up here. I'm wondering whether 5 is actually greater than 2 times 0 minus 4 minus 5 times 0. And this is 0 minus 4 minus 0. That's negative 4. And so that is a true statement. So my solution must be correct. All right, let's keep working here. 3 times f minus 2 is less than negative 18. So there's two ways to do this. I'll go ahead and work it out in both ways quickly here, just so you can check your work depending on how you did it. So one way is to just undo. So I see 3 times f minus 2, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I'll get f minus 2 is less than negative 6. And even though I get a negative answer, I don't flip the sign. It's only when you divide or multiply by a negative that you flip the sign. I'll add 2, and so f is less than negative 4. That's one way. I suspect a lot of us are probably doing something like this, though, where we'll do 3 times f minus 3 times 2, which is 6. So you distribute to start. So then you add 6. 3f is less than negative 12. Divide by 3. And I still get f is less than negative 4. So either way is totally fine, whatever you're more comfortable with. I tend to do it in the way on the right over here, and that's because I find it to be a little bit more efficient. You might notice it took one less step. So I'll put negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 5, negative 6 over here. It's strictly less than, so I'm going to make an open circle. F is on the smaller side, so I'm going to shade towards the smaller side of the inequality. All right, 3 down, 3 to go. All right, -4 times 2 minus 2p plus 7p is greater than 110. Now, this one, you have to start with the distribution, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll do -4 times 2 and -4 times -2p. I'm going to write it all out simply because I think some of us probably missed that negative. Hopefully you're getting better and better at that. Okay, so -4 times 2 is -8. Negative and negative make a positive. 8p plus 7p is greater than 110. I'm going to combine like terms now. That's 15p, and -8 comes along. And so now I add 8. And so I get 15p is greater than 118. And this is turning out to be a pretty nasty problem. 15, and so p is greater than, give me just a second here. .86 repeating. All right, and so in order to graph that, I'm going to graph 7, 8, 9, and 7.86 repeating is around here, and I'll mark that 7.86 repeating, and p is greater, so I'll mark in this direction here. Okay, let's keep going. 4v minus 10 is greater than or equal to 10v minus 4, so I'm going to the thing to notice about this one is that you have v's on both sides of the inequality, and so I'm going to start by moving the v's from the left side. That's because 4v is less than 10v, and so I'm going to take away 4v. And so I'll get -10 is greater than or equal to 10v minus 4v is 6v minus 4. You might notice that I lined up my like terms. If you're not doing that, really suggest that you do. Minus 4. Okay, so now I add 4. I get -6 is greater than or equal to 6v divided by 6. And so v is compared to -1. And so I'm going to put -1 and then 0, then 1, -2, -3. It could be equal to, so I'll make a closed circle. And v is on the small side, so I'm going to shade towards the small side. Okay, one to go, and probably the most challenging one. I see stuff to simplify on both sides. I see like terms, and I also see the distributive property to take care of. So I'm going to take care of all that stuff here in the first step. 2k plus k is 3k, minus 5 is still going to be greater than 3k minus 5k. Negative and negative make a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. And so then 3k minus 5k is -2k plus 10. And the rest of the stuff comes along. So now I'm going to add 2k to both sides. I get 5k minus 5 is greater than 10. Add 5. 5k is greater than 15. Divide by 5. Since it's positive, the sign doesn't switch, so k is greater than 3. All right, so I put 3, 4, 5, 2, and 1. It's strictly greater than, so it's an open circle. K is bigger, so I shade to the right. And that's what you get.